Hello everyone, this is Miss Samara. I'm back with my next lesson and I'm still on 9-2. It's still 9-2. Oh gosh, no, let's just make it a little bit thinner and that's better. And pick a different color. I'm still on 9-2, so I have a few more examples to show you. So let me just tell you one thing. Anytime there is something missing in the equation, explicit rule is the key of every missing stuff, all right? Anytime there's missing information, just use explicit rule, plug everything in, and then just solve for the missing stuff. So I'm going to show you a few examples on that. So let's try writing, I hope you remember explicit rule. So it's always a1 plus n minus 1 times it by the difference. So you have to have your first term, you have to have number of terms, n is number of terms, or the term you're solving for. An is the term you're looking for, d is the difference. So let's say the question asks you for something like this, okay? Normally we solve for a missing term, but this time my question is slightly different. So if I say my first term of a sequence, of an arithmetic sequence is 6, the difference is 5, and there's a term, I don't know what term it is, but there is a term, let's just say that random term is an, it's equal to 496. That's all I know. So can you find me what term is this number in this sequence? So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my explicit rule, plug everything in. An, this time the term itself, the random term is already given, which I'll put it on the left side of this equation. Do I know the first term? Yes, it's 6 plus n. I don't know about number of terms or the position of the term, so I'll just keep this n minus 1 as it is. And the difference is given, it's 5. Now, pretty much, I'm just going to solve for n. So let's just pick a different color. This is just like simplifying this equation. I would distribute this first. I have 5n minus 5. It's equal to 496. Combine like terms. So let's just combine 6n minus 5 is 1. So 1 plus 5n. So let's take away 1. I have 5n is equal to 495 at the end. If I divide by n, so it's 99th term. So the term 496 is 99th term of this sequence. So that's how we do it. I repeat, anytime there's something missing in the problem, so pretty much you just have to use explicit rule, plug in for whatever you know, and solve for the missing stuff. Okay, let me show you another example. I hope you remember about average. Oh gosh, oh that looks so weird. So it's average. Finding average. How do we find average? Arithmetic mean or finding average? So basically, you would take this term. Let's just say this is n minus 1, this is n plus 1, and this is an. So in order to find this middle term, what we do is we take term before, we add it to term after, and then we just divide by 2, right? And that's how we find the middle term or the average. Let me put another example like this. Let's say there's first term which is negative 32. There's another term is 16. And now in between these two terms, I have 3 terms. How would you solve for those 3 missing terms? For something like this, I'm going to follow this pattern. I know if I add these 2 and divide by 2, that will give me exact middle term, which is this one. So let's just say negative 32 added to 16, divide by 2. So negative 32 added to 16 would be negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So exact middle term would be negative 8. Now this is just like normal average problem. So I have these 2 terms, and if I add these 2 and divide by 2, it would give me the middle term. So negative 32 added to negative 8 divided by 2, it's negative 20. Here you go. Almost there. I still have one more to solve for. Negative 8 added to 16 and divided by 2. So negative 8 added to 16 is positive 8, divided by 2 is 4. Here you go. So I already have these three terms. If you see a pattern like this, yes, you can add outside and divide by 2. That will give you the middle term, and then so on. Today's lesson is going to be pretty short. I just have one more example. Another one about average or mean. So finding mean or arithmetic mean, average, whichever way you want to call it. Let's say the mean value or the average is 278. This time we do know the middle number or the average between two numbers. One of the numbers, let's just say my first number is 141. Could you find me the second number? This is just like saying you have three different numbers. You know exactly the middle number is this, and this is 141. How would you find the other one? There are multiple ways you can actually look at this. Basically, there's one way. Since you already know it's arithmetic sequence, so I know if I can find the difference, which is 137, what I would do is, in order to find the next one, I'm just going to add another like 137 and I'll just find the number. So let's just add it to 278. That's just one way to do it. Or another way you could do is you can just set up an equation. You know, average goes on this side. So you take your first number, you take your last number, let's just say A1 and A2, and you divide by 2, isn't it? Let's plug everything in. Average is 278, which I know. A1, which I also know as 141. And A2, it's missing 2. Now let's just solve for A2. I would multiply by 2 both sides. So 278 times it by 2 is 556. It's equal to 141 plus A2. Now I'll just take away 141. So my answer would be 400. So A2, which is the second number, is 415. So whichever way is easier, you could do that either this way or it's this way. Is the same thing. All right, whichever way is easier, you can follow that. And yeah, this is pretty much all. If you have any question on any of these problems, just put a comment. I'll answer your question. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye bye.